Welcome to Last Time Online. This episode is brought to you by Dogma Games, my very own game studio. I'm currently working on my first game called Wake Out of Twilight. Wake Out of Twilight is a 2D platformer game based in a futuristic dystopia where nearly all parts of life are automated. Life couldn't get any easier, but the price to pay was more than anybody agreed to. Navigate through traps, obstacles, and puzzles in order to save everybody from the nightmare. If you would like to be the first to know when I have updates or when the game is releasing, you can go to Steam and wishlist the game. Now, let's get on with the episode. What's up, gamers? Welcome to another episode of Last Time Online, the show where nerds talk about nerdy things, the podcast, I mean. And the crew today we have with us is, I am George. Today we have Jonathan.
Howdy.
Alvaro.
You're pretty good.
And Justin.
Welcome.
Yeah, I just realized we have kind of a smaller squad today. But anyway, yeah, so to start off our nerd report, which is what we talk, the time that we used to talk about the things that we've done over the last week, the nerdy stuff. And last week, what I did was I mostly slept because I was really, really tired. And I cut off on some sleep, so I don't really have like that much to say, except for like I've been kind of trying to make like an official trailer for my video game that has a demo out right now, so go check that out on Steam. The link will be in the description. And yeah, mostly the demo for that. I don't think I've really been playing any other new games other than like more Rainbow Six Siege and stuff. So yeah, actually that's actually it for me. I don't have anything else to say, so we'll move on. Let's go a different direction this time. We'll go Alvaro first today.
Had a really uneventful week, really. I did finally get through Uncharted, the Legacy Collection, so I got the platinum for that. That was number 68. Then the other day, I got platinum number 69, which is Fall Guys, because they had a limited time event where it was very easy to farm wins, so I got my 5 in a row. That's probably the, the most eventful thing I've done all week.
Yeah. That is probably one of the hardest trophies to get.
Yeah.
One of the hardest platinums to get. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's no Bladder of Steel, Rock Band 2, but you know, it's up there.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot about that one. But at least that one is like, at least that one's like grindable, right? Like you could.
No,
do that.
I mean, hey, you want to sit down for 6 hours and play the entire set list? That's
with no pauses.
Yeah.
Okay. That one's almost a team effort, huh?
Yeah.
You gotta pass the controller.
I mean, I did it, but that was like 10 years ago. Other than that, I caught up on Westworld. I'm caught up on Miss Marvel, which I thought was excellent. Watched Thor, which we might get into a little bit later. And that's about it. I don't know if I have anything coming up. Since I finished the Uncharted game, I don't know what to play next. I'm still dabbling in the Messenger. I'm about halfway through it, but
oh yeah,
it's fucking hard. So it's like when I get home, like I'm hella tired. I'm like, I don't want to play this right now. So it's probably more weekend game. I'll chip away at it as the year goes on. So, but right now, I don't know. I'm in between stuff, so we'll see. Oh, I did start what the hell is it called? Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. I don't like it, but I'll push through. I'll push through it. But that's about it. That's it for me.
All right, cool. Then we'll move on to Justin.
What did I do this week? I've kind of been stuck on the one game that I got from Epic, The Hood. I don't know why. I just have fun just sniping people and being very stealthy. I don't know if you guys. I think you guys got it from PSN, right? Like
Okay.
it was. It's The Hood.
Hood Outlaws?
Yeah.
I think it's on my list. I haven't downloaded it.
Yeah. I actually played it. It's actually pretty fun. I think George would really like it because George likes to be stealthy and do stealthy things. But
Really?
Yeah.
What makes you think that?
I don't know. I think you would like it.
You've played with George.
I'm super aggro when I play games.
Yeah, he's a Leroy Jenkins. Like we already know this.
Yeah, but there's like this character that you just walk around and you just stab somebody in the face and then you just move on. So maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I was having a fun time playing it.
Oh hey, wow, that was quick.
I also went to the local fair and got to listen to the 2 songs of Smash Mouth that I actually do know. So that wasn't a complete waste of $15. So what else did I do? Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
still
actually
had
had
that killer cover.
yeah. Well, they have the cover for what the Rick Astley "Never Gonna Get You Up" song, right?
Yeah, that was like their comeback cover with the new lead singer, because the other guy he retired.
Retired.
Yeah, he was saying he's like, hey, go like this song on Spotify. But like, I don't know. I don't hate the new guy, but it kind of just sounds like he's just talking while he's singing instead of like actually singing. But I'm like, I don't know.
I mean, he sounds similar, like
He does sound kind of
vocally.
similar, but I don't know. Like, eh. What else did I do? Oh, I actually played a game I hadn't played in a while, which was Scythe. It's a board game that's kind of like Civ, if anybody's played Civ. Um, Pretty much the same concept. You grow your army, you move your army, you destroy.
Hmm.
I ended up playing that with a couple people, and I'm actually looking at getting the expansion on Prime Day right now, and I haven't fully pulled the trigger on it yet. But
Do it.
yeah. Oh, I think I started Umbrella Academy, but I haven't finished it yet. But I haven't really done much this week. It's
You
been more of a
you think you started it or
no.
you did start
I
it?
did start it, but I'm not
Okay.
finished. I'm on like I think I'm like episode 5 or 6 of I don't know how many, because I kind of just hit play and then let it go. But other than that, I didn't really do much this week. It was kind of hot, so I just laid low.
Oh yeah, yeah. I went to. Oh yeah, now that I remember. Like I went to. Well, I won't say, but I went like more inland that last weekend, and it was freaking hot, and I wasn't prepared for that because I was over here comfortable in my like not hot weather for a while.
Coastal weather.
Yeah,
He's so used to the future weather.
I'm so used to being underneath trees. That's the thing too. Like it's both not hot and also a lot of shade around here. So it's like I'm not used to the heat. Um, yeah, it was like at the point where it was uncomfortable, like leaving my car for an extended period of time because I knew when I get back, then it was gonna be just like super hot in there.
Yes, it was. And I think that kind of wraps up everything. I didn't really do much this week. Kind of a slow week, I think.
Yeah.
If I remember something, I'll throw it out there.
Sounds like we were all recuperating. So,
Yeah.
yeah, Jonathan, you're up next.
I did so much watching because I tested positive for COVID, so I've been stuck at home
Oh,
since
at least
Saturday.
at least you sound all right.
Yeah, no, I never really got really sick. Actually, Friday was kind of when I was at my worst. But I thought it was allergies because it was really windy last week, and I wasn't taking any nasal spray or Zyrtec or Claritin or anything like that. So I thought, hey, I'm just congested because of the wind, because it happens all the time. But my baby got a fever, and so my dad's like, you got to test yourself, and so I tested positive. So I've been off work. I'll be off work until tomorrow, and if I test positive again, then I get another 5 days of nothing. If not, back to work on Friday. But during that time, I got so much watched. I finished The Boys season 3. It was really good. I watched Stranger Things season 4 in a very short period of time. It was also very good. We watched Umbrella Academy in a very short period of time. I enjoyed that. That one was a lot shorter watch. It felt like than obviously than Stranger Things. Stranger Things was a task, time wise. Like it was enjoyable all the way through, but it was so much, and we kind of had to like plan around it because you know can't start an episode too late because they're over an hour. Um, and on Sunday, which usually is family day, but Justin didn't come over because of COVID. So I sat on the couch and I watched Beverly Hills Cop 1 through 3. Um,
Wow.
it was really good. I started watching a comedy called Abbott Elementary.
Hmm.
About halfway through. It's I don't know her name, but I know she was like one of the last people on BuzzFeed before it kind of like became irrelevant. Um, a black chick with like curly hair and kind of chunky. Um, and then the kid from Everybody Hates Chris is a grown ass man, and he's in that show.
Oh.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's like The Office in an elementary school, but the elementary school is like real like in the ghetto, and it's poorly funded, and so that's like the whole thing. Like the teachers trying to do their jobs with essentially their hands and legs tied behind their back.
Hmm.
Um, and the last show that I watched, um, which kind of went something trying to want to try something different. I watched a show called The Bear. It's on Hulu. Um, it says Hulu original, but it's also has the FX moniker. So I don't know if it's produced by FX and it's only on Hulu or if it was on FX. Um,
Hmm.
but it's essentially the main character is the dude from Shameless, the eldest son. I don't know if you guys have watched Shameless.
Is that the Fallen Order guy? Same guy?
I forget his
Yes.
name.
Yeah, that's him.
Fallen Order guy.
Yeah, it's Star Wars.
I actually don't know his name, which is a shame.
It's
He also played the Joker too, right, in one of the games.
Jeremy Allen White.
I actually wouldn't. I actually
No,
wouldn't
no,
even
no,
know.
no. Cameron Monaghan is the one that you're talking about.
Oh, okay, okay.
Um, the other son. There's two older
Oh,
ones.
okay. Well,
He plays a chef, and he worked in the best restaurant in the world. Right? He was like a young chef, got all the accolades, and then his brother dies, and he's forced to come home to Chicago, and take over the family sandwich shop, like their restaurant, the family restaurant. They sell sandwiches, and so it's just kind of the whole him dealing with like a failing restaurant and also kind of like the grieving of his brother. The other lead is I don't know her name, but she's in Big Mouth. She plays the black girl in Big Mouth.
I also
Um,
wouldn't know. I don't watch that show either.
no,
It's a good show.
um,
Kind of inappropriate, but it's a good show.
yeah. So those are the two lead actors. It's a very good show. It's not. It's a lot different than all the other shows that I've listed off that I went through. It has its funny moments, but it's kind of more of a somber, dramatic show, and it does a very good job of capturing the shit show that is restaurant work life.
Okay.
Um, and probably I think it's a one and done show too. They kind of ended it in a way where they wouldn't have to do another season, but maybe they could if they wanted to, if it's successful enough. So 8 episodes on Hulu, and I think they're like 40 minutes. No, I think that's a 30-minute show, so you can get through it pretty quickly. I was watching like 2 episodes a night for like 4 days. Um, Definitely worth the watch. And on the video game side, I was playing Fire Emblem Warriors, and that's what I was playing up until
Oh yeah, how's that one? Because you said
literally.
you said you hadn't started that last week, right?
I had just started it.
Oh,
Let me see. Okay, so I have gotten about 7 hours and 20 minutes out of this demo, and it's literally the beginning of the game. I didn't play the first Fire Emblem Warriors, but this one it's really good. It I thought I wasn't sure what story it was going to be. because the original Fire Emblem Three Houses was like it had like there's a you know there's not really much room for like a prequel or like an ending, but what they ended up doing was alternate history. So you're a different character, and Byleth, which is the hero in the other game, is I think the main villain. It's hard to he's an antagonist. I don't know if he ends up being the main antagonist, but at the beginning of the game, he is the main antagonist so far. Um, and whatever house you pick, you kind of I picked the same house that I picked in the other game. So the beginning of the game is very much like the other game, story wise, where you're hitting the head house is the of the Blue Lions is the king of the northern region, and he has like specific plot points, and so you're fighting those. And then once it hits the point, because both games have a timed jump, that's where it deviates. Like, and you have all the same characters, but you're only dealing with the one house. Whereas in this one's Three Hopes. So Fire Warriors is Three Hopes, the other one's Three Houses. So I'm gonna try and differentiate. With Three Houses, you can, after the beginning, the first half of the game, you can try and recruit all of them, with the exception of there's four, two from each of the other houses, because they're like the leader and their underlings. For the other houses, you can't recruit them in the beginning half of the game. And this one, you only deal with the one house that you pick, whichever kingdom, or if you pick the yellow, is their alliance of free states. And so it has those story beats, but the combat is warriors, and it's very well done. And it still adds that the leveling system that you get from Fire Emblem Warriors, as well as the character relationships, because the more when you play with characters together, their bonds increase and they get stronger when they're fighting together on the battlefield. And there's a big area that you can upgrade, and the first three chapters are pretty much the pre-game, and those are just like tutorial. And then the last chapter, which I'm assuming I haven't finished it yet, but this I'm at the final mission, I'm assuming, before it cuts me off in chapter 4. Once you hit chapter 4, if you, when you're picking how you want to play the game, you can pick classic mode. If one of your main characters dies, they're gone. You can't use them anymore. So it's gonna make your stuff more difficult. I've played 7 hours in the game. Admittedly, I could be done with it already, but I was kind of going back and trying to get each of the missions at S rank, because once I think chapter 4 is like a better look of how the rest of the game is going to be. You like go into a territory, because they show the whole map of the continent, and each one is broken into like separate like states or whatever, and it's like Risk, where you're going from point to point and conquering, beating the enemy, and you take over that area, and it unlocks other surrounding areas. Sometimes it's another mission. Sometimes you use scouting points to go to that place to get resources to build up your base camp. And you can beat them. Once you beat them, you can just go to the next one, but you get better rewards to get S rank. And so pretty much the clearing for S rank is how fast you beat it. The standard so far is about 7 minutes. So if you beat it under 7 minutes, you don't take a certain amount of damage, and you kill a certain amount of enemies. It's usually like 400 or 500, which sounds like a lot, but when you can go in and just like decimate like 100 dudes with a big ass power combo, it's pretty satisfying.
Did you say this is a demo still?
This is a demo. It's just like
I thought you said you got the game.
No. This is a demo. This is just like the.
Wait, so does the progress carry over then?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right, good. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah. So.
But
I haven't. I was trying to. There's one area that says you have to get all the side mission, because every mission that you beat has also a side mission. If you ignore it, you can still progress in the game, but it's just more resources to upgrade your camp to make your guys stronger. But like I said, if you just want to run through it and complete each one, you can. But once you beat that final like main story beat on the map, you cannot go back. So
You know what?
whatever.
You're giving me kind of the like I after you talking about this, I'm thinking about that Time Flies game that we were talking about a while
Uh-huh.
ago. You know, where you only
Mhm.
have like a few seconds to play the game. You
Mhm.
know, I'm like wondering if like has there been any games with like a mechanic that have like a time limit that you can like spend places so that you can't like 100% areas, right? I'm starting to think that would be a cool mechanic, right?
Maybe. I mean, there's missable stuff, but it's
Because
on you.
like I don't know. I'm actually I mean like
I didn't
I
get
mean
S
you
on the first two missions, so
I
like
mean
I
a
can't
lot
go
of you
back
guys
to
are
that.
different actually, but like I think when it comes to this sounds like an RPG game, right?
Hmm.
Like when it comes to
Well,
RPG games, I'm almost
action.
okay, well, okay. Like when it comes to games, I almost think that it's kind of better to have the option, not the option, but like kind of consequence to staying and trying to 100% things. You know what I mean? Um, like I've kind of moved away from like the play style of like trying to 100% things, right? Because I kind of want to play games where it's like a story, you know,
Hmm.
and like realistically, like in real life, you don't complete everything before you move on, right? Like it makes I don't know, I guess it's just like a philosophy. Like for example, like in Skyrim or something like that, if you break the law, like do you go to jail or do you reload to your last save? You know what I mean?
Right.
like I've gotten kind of
Yeah.
into like the habit of like not saving. I'll like go to jail and like see where like what that kind of like does to my character. I'll let my character age, or anyway. I just said that because I kind of don't agree with like the trying to 100% everything before you move on. Like I'm kind of like in the mindset where it's like I like in this playthrough that I'm doing, like part of this character's story, he never did this, and because he did that, there's consequences later on.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
I
like
mean,
in
there's
like
definitely like dialogue options where the things that you say when you're interacting with characters
mhm.
does affect the game. To what extent, I don't know, but there is a setting. Um, like I said, when you start up the game, it asks you how you want to play the game. Do you want high difficulty? Do you just want to enjoy the story? Do you want classic mode where your guys will die if you're not careful, or do you want casual where okay, if they fall, they'll come back at the end of each
Yeah.
mission.
See, that's another thing
And
too. Like if they die, would you reload the game or would you try to just like go on like
uh,
oh they
I
died,
I I definitely am the type of person that will try and reload the game and beat it without losing somebody.
Mhm.
And sometimes it's hard. Like I've played games that like other Fire Emblem games. Sometimes it's easier to just let a person die because it's really hard to get through that level with everybody intact. Like if you're not really careful with your class choices and your equipment and who you have on there and the way that you're this is classic Fire Emblem, not so much this, but this I mean I did restart once because I had a weak person in. I was trying to like, see what they had, their capabilities, and don't put a caster on the front lines. She got killed, and I was like, ah, shit. I mean, it's a demo, but it's not a big deal. But yeah, I've played Fire Emblem games or Final Fantasy Tactics where there's characters that can die and they won't come back.
Yeah.
And it's easier. Like I said, it's easier sometimes if you're willing to just like, okay, sacrifice one lamb so the flock can get through than to try and get through with everybody.
Mhm.
But that's a decision you have to make.
everybody's necessity.
Yeah.
No, incorrect. But anyway, that's our that's our nerd report.
I think it's a game that I would wanna pick up and buy. George, you can play through the game pretty fast without. I think you could probably get through it in probably half the time that I did. The beginning is a little slow, but I think you can get through it without doing the completionary stuff. I don't know how long the overall game is, but it's fun.
For a Switch.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Thor.
Is it Amazon Day? I should have been looking for a Switch. Damn it. Anyway, that's our nerd report. And for our topic for the day, we have all watched Thor: Love and Thunder, which this isn't my whole report, but I really like the show, which apparently is against popular opinion according to Twitter. But I will let somebody else start this conversation. If no one jumps in, I'll pick Jonathan, since I saw him drinking out of a Thor: Love and Thunder cup.
Oh yeah, I liked it. It was a very
show off your cup. Wait, was it Thor: Love and Thunder?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. Mighty. Okay, I thought so.
That's
I was tripping for a second.
That's the Mighty Thor, and that's the himbo Thor.
That's just normal Thor.
Internet. He has golden retriever energy apparently.
Yeah. So who here thought they liked it? Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I liked it.
Okay.
What were you gonna ask? Who liked it more than the last one?
No, I was gonna say who here liked it the least, because who do you think, or do we all just really like it?
I think we all just liked it.
Yeah, it was really good.
I liked it a lot.
I don't know. I think it's critics though that are giving it bad reviews, right? Like the viewer score is pretty high, at least on Rotten Tomatoes.
I even saw it. I even saw some. Well, I didn't. I'm not looking at like the viewer scores, but I have seen some people. So IGN had a poll on Twitter over the weekend, and admittedly I voted before I even saw the movie, which was like, I want to say like a lot of people did the same thing because they just did it on the first day it released, right? But it looked like 70% of people voted Thor Ragnarok. The question was, which Thor is the best Thor? 70% of the people said Thor Ragnarok was the best one. And admittedly, I want to say like a large percentage of those voters were like me, where I saw Thor Ragnarok and I loved it, and I hadn't seen Thor Love and Thunder yet, and I just wanted to see the results. So I said Thor Ragnarok was the best one, and I saw that, right?
I mean, I liked it, but I do agree that Thor Ragnarok is better.
Okay.
Not by a lot, but I think it is overall a better movie.
Just to wrap up what I was saying too, the reason why I brought that up was because in the comments I saw, that's where I was seeing people that were saying like Thor, they were trying to compare the two, and they were saying, or when I say they, some people were saying Thor Ragnarok was a comedy, Thor Love and Thunder was just plain old silly, right? And I don't know if I disagree with that so much, but I don't see why that's like such a dock on the points, you know what I mean?
Well, no, Max isn't here because he probably would have been the biggest naysayer. And he'll he should just record his thing and be like, editor comment here, and just like, I hated it.
It's gonna be like when someone remote receives an Oscar, they just like have a pre-recorded video or something.
A comment from the future.
Yeah.
I mean, he had made a comment that said the emotional parts didn't really work on him. They worked on me. I have become a sap in my old married with child age.
Father,
yeah. So in the last few years, I'd say I've been more susceptible to that stuff.
I would say it worked on me too. I mean, I think a lot of movies try to put like the drama element into whatever they're making, right? Because they need drama to reach a certain audience, right? But in this movie, I don't feel like it was just thrown in. It seemed like it was actually it resonated with me too. I mean, like it didn't seem like it was just thrown. I thought that part was well done. So yeah, basically just saying I agree with you.
Well, did you see the? I don't know if it was a tweet or if it was like an article, but apparently they actually had like 4 hours worth of footage for that movie that they cut out, and it's all just like improv comedy. Like they had like a lot of
Oh God,
material.
that's got to be so bad. It's got to be
So
so bad.
so like there was he I think it might have been an article because he was saying that they had 4 hours of footage. It could have been a 4 hour movie, but it wouldn't have been a good movie. It would have just been a bunch of funny stuff
I bet
because
it's all. I bet it's
Taika
all.
gave him
Yeah, I bet it's all Taika actually. I bet it's all Taika trying to do
he
the improv
well
stuff.
he said that he gave a lot of people a lot of freedom to um what's the word I'm looking for,
Improvise,
free ball it, so to say.
freestyle.
Yeah, freestyle. Improv, that's the word I was looking for. How to connect the dots.
Yeah.
He gave a lot of them to room to improv in the comedy bits. So they do have like he said there's not going to be like a director's cut because he doesn't think that movie would be good, but maybe we'll get like a bunch of deleted scenes, just funny scenes that are going to be on the Blu-ray. That'll make it extra worthwhile to purchase.
Did you think there was too much Taika though?
I saw people were saying that too.
Not, I mean, maybe a little, but it's still a really good movie. Like, I don't know.
I feel
The
like
thing, good.
I was just gonna say I feel like they've had so many serious movies recently and serious shows that when it comes to Thor, they're just like, let's have some fun, right? I mean, not saying that it wasn't like there were serious parts of the movie, right? With the
Yeah.
whole, yeah, but I feel like in Thor, they're just like, let's have some fun. And I mean, I enjoyed
That's
it.
why I don't feel like it's very different from the last one. Like Ragnarok was silly as hell too. Like I don't see how I really don't know
Yeah.
how you can complain about it when they're very similar.
They both had like things that were better. Like, I think overall Ragnarok is a slightly better movie. But there were things that I liked more in Love and Thunder than I liked in Ragnarok, like the soundtrack and the Gore the God Butcher was a much better villain than Hela.
Okay. Yeah. I think so too.
But I think if anything, it could be one of two things. Like I think it was a better balanced in Ragnarok, but also Ragnarok had the advantage of not having a previous Taika Waititi movie in the MCU before it. So like people already they're like, oh yeah, this is so good, we want more, and then they got more, and they're like, oh, it lost its shine. So I think that's what it is.
I just think that Marvel has approached that Star Wars fan kind of like phase where it's like,
oh yeah,
we hit everything now, so it's like it's never enough for anybody. Because
yeah.
it's either doesn't follow the comics or follows the comics too closely. And it's always a nitpicks.
It's funny with Thor though, because like his movies, they were so serious, and then now these two second ones, they're on the complete spectrum. But maybe people thought, okay, so if we have like a timeline, it's hard to see my finger with this background, a timeline, and Ragnarok is in the middle, and then right next to it would be the first Thor, and then the second Thor is all the way too, takes itself way too seriously, and then on the opposite end you have Love and Thunder, which maybe people think it doesn't take itself serious enough, but like I said, I think people are just like, it's more of the same, and maybe they wanted something different, but he has a very distinct style
Right.
in his movies, so like I don't know what people want. It was a really good movie. I enjoyed it.
That could be one of the reasons why I do like this movie too, because so in this movie, I mean, I knew Taika Waititi, was the director again, but is the moment that those like two of those like space vehicles coming at Thor, and in a flash of light, he splits his legs, arms
Oh,
crossed.
the Jean-Claude Van Damme moment. I was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
yes.
At that moment, I knew, okay, I'm not gonna take this movie seriously. Let's go. And so
Yeah.
that was a moment where I was like, okay, let's see what you got for me. And
I was cheering.
I think that movie that moment was like by far the most ridiculous point in the movie. And it was good that they did it right in the beginning because it kind of broke my mind to get me ready for like the rest of the movie.
Tone.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of when a comedian makes his offensive jokes in the beginning of the show, so so everyone knows that if they're gonna leave, like leave now, you know.
Leave now, yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. So I think that was a crucial scene in the movie for me because it set my mind up for the rest of the movie, and I loved it. It was, other than that moment, it wasn't that much crazier than Ragnarok, but yeah.
Yeah,
What about the goats?
Oh, the goats.
Dude,
Yeah.
Okay. So I love the screaming goats. Like that shit.
Yeah.
Like
It was
every
funny.
time makes me laugh. And like I have the additional bonus. I have a friend who absolutely despises it. And so like there was one time I got a hold of his phone and I put it as a ringtone and then like called him and yeah, so I love the screaming goats and I enjoyed every single yell, though I could understand why maybe some people would have got tired of it after about halfway through the movie.
I did get a little tired of it. Just because, not just the screams in general though. It just seemed like there was some times where they used it where it seemed like it wasn't necessary. But I never got tired of it though. It was just like I got tired of like them using it in like kind of
Every
random,
scene.
in like random scenes, you know. But then there were scenes where it was like, you know, something happened and then it was just like perfect that you heard like the goat screaming, you know. So, yeah. Yeah. Justin, I don't think you said much about the movie. What did you think? What did you like?
No.
What didn't you like?
I enjoyed it. I don't really know if there was much of it that I didn't like. I mean, I didn't see the first two Thors, but I seen the third one. From what I've heard, you don't really need to watch the first two Thors, right? I mean, I already know I already kind of know the story for Thor because I've read comics, but
Right.
you know, because nerd things, right? But I enjoyed it. Like I kind of agree with you with the whole where he jumps up and kicks. That's when you knew when it was gonna be kind of ridiculous, and I'm just
Exactly.
like I was laughing like maybe like 80% of that movie just because of the stupid shit that he does.
Yep.
And I felt like me and Jonathan. Well, no, there was a lady behind us that was kind of cackling, but there was like we were like really the only ones laughing at that movie.
That's
great.
My showing was pretty good. Most of the people were laughing, so that's how I feel too. It's like if the audience isn't into it, then it's gonna kill it for most everyone. But okay, I'll laugh by myself. I don't care.
I think the aside from like the crazy shenanigans in that opening sequence, like there's a couple of things that I didn't like that I accepted because I felt like it had to happen because of the way that Thor has developed. Like I was over his like lost finding myself Thor. Like I really enjoyed Thor in Ragnarok, and then like, you know, after all the shit with Infinity War and Endgame, he just kind of like lost and kind of a little bit too much. But I understand why he did it and it needed to happen, and we're over that hump now, hopefully, and we won't visit that Thor again. And he'll just be, you know, a new and improved version of the Thor that we grew to love. And the other thing, not really a thing that I didn't like, but I guess we kind of touched on it in a previous episode with the cameos, where the Guardians were kind of pointless. Like, but they were there to set up the beginning of the movie. But otherwise, like, I felt they probably could have just Thor just instead of being with the Guardians, he was going around the universe just saving people on his own, and it could have been the same thing. Like,
Well, I think it may have been kind of forced because I mean I think Marvel thinks that they can't get away with just having Thor by himself when they know that he kind of left with the Guardians at the end of was it Endgame?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the overall like Marvel fandom would have forgiven them. He's like, hey, they were supposed to be the
Where's the
Asgardians.
Guardians? Yeah, exactly.
The Asgardians of the Galaxy was supposed to happen, you know. And so
Yeah.
because
Or maybe yeah, it could have been a bigger thing. Like maybe if he had put him with them, that it could have been like a more involved thing. I guess it would have been a different movie. But I think that's really the only issues that I had with it. Minor things. I overall enjoyed the movie, and out of the 4 movies, Justin, I would say the only ones you probably need to watch are the first one and the third one. Yeah. You can just ignore the second one. Just know Natalie Portman was in it. Also, I did not. I mean, okay. I knew how Jane Foster becomes Thor. Like I was reading the comics at that time. Like I read Original Sin when Thor became unworthy. I don't know. I didn't read the aftermath how he became worthy again, but it was a pretty cool sequence where he's fighting the white Nick Fury from the original universe, not the Samuel Jackson version that's in the Ultimate. And he whispers something in his ear while they're fighting in space, and then he instantly becomes unworthy, and just like you just see him shoot like a rocket to the moon, and he's stuck on the moon trying to get his hammer off. And that's the last time you see Thor in that little like special arc. And then Jane Foster, she gets the cancer, and that's how she picks up the hammer, and that's how she becomes Thor. I didn't think they were going to do that. I didn't think they were going to give her cancer. Like I was actually shocked that they did that, because sometimes they'll be like, oh, we'll do it something different, maybe to keep her around longer. You know what I mean? Because sometimes the MCU isn't a 1-to-1; they change it. But I was pleasantly surprised that they actually did take it that serious route.
I mean, why would they stray away? I know that's kind of a serious topic and just in general, but like usually when you make these types of movies, you kind of want to stay a little consistent to what the comic book is, right?
I mean, yeah, but it's not necessarily the truth for every single hero that we've seen. I mean, I haven't seen Miss Marvel yet, but apparently they've changed the way that her powers work compared to the comics. So, like, nothing is completely off the table.
I don't know if that's accurate. You should.
Well,
watch
I have,
it
like I
before
said,
you
I haven't
read
seen it,
stuff.
but I don't know if it's something that changes over the course, but from the beginning, there was comments saying that, like, her powers are not quite the same as they are in the comics.
Remember when there was a whole generation that thought Spiderweb came out of Spider-Man's wrists?
Yeah.
Because of the first Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just reminded me of that.
It's minor things, but
there was like one element of this movie that I think there was a single element of this movie that I think set it over the top for me, or set it like a little bit higher than Ragnarok for me, because they were both like really funny and good movies. The reason why I liked Love and Thunder more was purely for the Shadow Realm sequence, because I give so much points for them, like using color, using visuals as like an art, not just like filming people, right? But they actually like, played with it, and like it was part of the art too, where they like played with the colors. Everything was in black and white. They had like glimpses of just color, from things that were just shining in light. And I don't know. It turns out I watched it in a Dolby theater, so I don't know how it looked and sounded for you guys, but like the visuals and the sound was so good, and like the sound was even changed during that sequence too. So I just give extra points for the sound and visual design for like the whole sequence in the Shadow Realm. It was, it takes like the movie making process, I'm sure, too, and then movie watching experience to like another level.
Yeah.
Me. Yeah, those
Yeah,
scenes were sick. Yeah.
The only source of color was from the objects of power, so like the hammer,
Mhm.
the lightning bolt, and the axe.
Yeah, and then
Like,
Christian Bale's eyes, I think, were always orange in the Shadow Realm too.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
freaking sick.
And there was
Yeah.
I mean, and this was something that I probably didn't appreciate as much as other people would have, but like there was a lot of people that were really happy when they go to the God Kingdom and they just see representation of their own
Yeah.
Oh,
gods and
I hadn't thought of
beliefs.
that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Nice. I didn't think about that. Yeah, you're right.
There was
Except they're all like worshiping like this bozo Zeus up there.
He flicked too
I
hard.
wanted him to say, "Are you not entertained?"
I loved
Like,
his accent.
I
in that
wanted
movie.
him to say it, and it didn't happen.
I
I'm
loved
a
his
little
accent.
disappointed,
Mhm.
but yeah, he was a good Thor.
Zeus.
I'm looking Zeus. Sorry. And
How?
yeah, I think the color thing was in both though, because you kind of see that's one thing that Taika did that contrasts from the first two, because the first two movies are really dark, and by in contrast, I mean that was the one thing that I think maybe it was a like a decision that he made to differentiate from the other two, is like he picked very bright, vibrant colors for not only the promotional stuff but also like in the movie. And he cranks it to 11 for this movie. So yeah, the color is definitely more vibrant and brighter, just all over the place compared to the previous one. But it definitely was a artistic decision he started with Ragnarok.
Yeah, I think that this movie does take advantage of, like, for the folks at home when they eventually want to buy it or anything like that. I think it takes advantage of like a very good TV if you have it, and a good sound system if you have it. So this is a cool one.
I think I'd go watch it again in IMAX, or something better.
Yeah, IMAX is really good. It looks super clean the whole time. Something I couldn't say about Multiverse.
Yeah,
That to me looked super flat, like right from the beginning. So like this had like depth and color, and like it's really good just visually. So I mean, for you to see it in Dolby is probably the best way. But IMAX scenes are really good too.
All right. How about we make
chalk it up to a talented director?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's make a slight pivot into the thing I was talking to you guys about before, where it was the Marvel phases and their plans or anything. So I mean, we're gonna get a little bit more closure, most likely, as the San Diego Comic-Con goes along. But so far, there has been a tally of the play times through all the Marvel phases so far. Phase 1 and 2 were 12.4 and 12.7 hours. Phase 3, 24.9 hours. And the current phase that we're in right now, so far, if you're counting the shows, which the first 3 phases didn't have, but the current phase has 49.5 hours. Now, the part that I kind of wanted to discuss was, do we think Marvel has a solid plan? Because I don't think that they do. Because I want to say that, like, if they did, I feel like I would have known what their plan is for the closures of this phase is. You know what I mean?
I don't think there's going to be a closure.
Do you think they're just pushing shit out so that way they could just get people to watch it?
It's all about money at the end of the day, so they're not going to make money regardless.
I want to say yeah, but like it's hard for me to. I don't know. It seems like that's not. It hasn't been Kevin Feige's style, But I haven't seen. I haven't seen like evidence either way. You know what I mean?
Is this movie the end of Phase 4 though?
No,
or
it'll be Black Panther.
Is the last one?
Yeah, it's supposed to be.
And that got pushed back.
Yeah.
It's supposed to come out this year, isn't it?
Is it? I thought it was next year.
I thought it was November, or like somewhere in the fall. Yeah, I mean they're gonna show it at Comic-Con, so we'll know
We
then. They'll have a trailer
yeah.
too.
I guess we'll probably know after Black Panther if that is the last one.
Yeah. But I guess like um how do we think the phase is going to end? Or not end, it doesn't have to end, but like how do we think phase 4 is going to be defined, right? Because I mean like phase 1 was kind of defined by like the Avengers forming, kind of, right?
Mhm.
Right.
I can't. Phase 2 and phase 3 are kind of fuzzy to me, but phase 3 was definitely finished with the Infinity War. Not finished, but
Mhm.
it was defined by the Infinity War, right? It was really Endgame, but um, yeah. And phase 2 is a little fuzzy for me, but I'm sure it had like kind of an arc, you know. Phase 4 doesn't seem, at least to me, that there's a consistent arc. It seems like there's several arcs, um, and the reason why I say like they don't really have a plan is because like I think from what they've done before, I'm almost expecting them to have like something that ties it all together, and I don't know if that's even possible. So that's why I'm saying like they don't have a plan.
Well, I mean, obviously the nerds have theories. The nerds have theories for everything. Um, I think we had the Infinity Saga, and did I say I think, but we had the Infinity Saga, and that had a definitive end, and now everything is different. We're seeing either the foundation for new characters, or we're seeing the consequences of the things that happened
Mm-hmm.
from the previous phase. So I think right now they're in another. This is a new slate, and they're building foundation for something bigger. I don't know what it is. Um, there are, I don't know, either smarter people or people that have less or a lot more time on their hands than me to further examine this stuff. They think they are building towards a Secret Wars.
Yeah.
Um,
See, if you say that though, which I'm not saying you're wrong, but like I'm almost thinking that like you can build too much.
oh,
You know what I mean? Uh, yeah.
well,
So
if they do the Secret Wars, then they get to build up everything and then destroy it all at the end. And then might get Battle World, which would be really cool if they do Battle World. But if they did that, it won't that will be the next, like, after the big event horizon for this new set of phases. But you know,
yeah.
They're gonna keep it going as long as they can.
oh
Because
well, yeah.
money, 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 money.
Exactly. You keep paying for it,
Yeah.
they'll keep making it.
Ah,
Yeah. So
I
I
don't
guess
know.
I guess that's another question then. Are we like so are
Fatigued.
we happy enough with Marvel that they're doing this, or like, cuz you almost appreciate the Marvel stuff that they're putting out right now as standalones, right? Like some of them are pretty good as like standalone things. They don't need to be part of like any Marvel phase in
Mhm.
reality.
Right.
Um, are we happy with that? Are we just like expecting too much out of like a Marvel phase right now? And should they even
I
be
think
like,
so. I think
yeah,
so. Because
Yeah,
like you said, a lot of it does stand alone, even though there are some that connect, like Hawkeye and WandaVision.
mm-hmm.
But
and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the
yeah,
movie standing on their own.
yeah. I don't
Um,
think it's like I wouldn't even call it a phase because after Infinity War and Endgame, it's like it's really hard to build that up again. Like
Yeah,
it's really lightning in the bottle kind of shit, you know?
yeah,
mm,
I feel like as long as the stuff is good, I'm okay with it. Like I know Doctor Strange was a little kind of iffy for some people, but I mean I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the first one, not knowing what the hell was going on, but I enjoyed it. But
yeah, I
like as
for the
long as the
most part
story is
enjoyed
good
it.
and it's kind of fluent, I feel like it's fine. But I mean, maybe that's just me.
the Marvel Phase 4, is that something that Marvel has officially said on their own? Have they called their own phases before, or is that like a fan made thing? I guess I don't
No,
know.
they that's their the way that they presented it at like conventions and
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
I
So
know
like
they've.
whenever Comic Con comes back, they'll have like a whole timeline kind of thing. It'll be like all the phases listed.
I
Is
almost
Yeah.
started watching
I
Eternals
remember they
today,
did that
but
for like phase 1 through 3, but like Marvel declared their own phase 4. I just want to make sure that's like a real thing.
so there is a Black Panther this year. Okay, I thought it got pushed back.
So that's how
I
much
hadn't
of a fan
really.
you are. Yeah, it did get
it's
pushed back to the
it's
fall.
it's hard to keep track of it all, man.
There's a lot. I mean, I've
Yeah.
watched almost every. The only thing I haven't watched is Eternals and Miss Marvel, and I'll probably watch that this week.
It's only 6 episodes.
Yeah, I'll watch both of them because Alina wanted to watch um, Eternals this afternoon, but we were
Eternals
in
is
the
good.
we were in the living room and the glare is too much, and that one is one of those. I'm like particular with certain types of content. Like if it's the way that it's shot is on a darker, not necessarily a dark tone, but just the colors and the film itself is darker lit. I won't watch it in the afternoon. Like I will wait till it's evening and there's no light. I do not like light glare bouncing off of the TV when I'm trying to watch it. And the living room's very well lit area, so and my room is very hot in the day. So I'll wait until the night to watch Eternals and then
It's
Miss
good.
Marvel. We'll
Yeah, I'm
probably
curious what you
not.
think about it, but Miss Marvel's overall I would think is better than even though it's a movie. I mean, they're pretty much the same length. I think Eternal's like 2.5 hours, but
You think
actually, well,
you're saying Eternals is better than Miss Marvel?
no,
Or no,
No.
I think Miss
the other way
Marvel.
around.
Miss
Sorry, the
Marvel.
other way around.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
I feel like
Miss Marvel
Okay.
is a show that I do really want to watch. It's just there's a lot of stuff, and I kind of deem Stranger Things more important just because I needed to watch it before the internet got me to a point where I didn't want to watch it at all, or they spoiled shit. I mean, yeah, nothing like major plot wise was spoiled, but it's just like the moments, like the
Yeah.
cool stuff. That was the
That's
stuff.
what it's gonna be. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, no one was talking about Umbrella Academy, so I was able to push that on. The only thing that people were talking about was the opening Footloose dance sequence at the first 5 minutes of the show, and then after that, no one said anything about Umbrella Academy. And there are people talking about Miss Marvel, but not nearly as many people as Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, no.
I feel like I'm on like episode. I'm mainly like episode 2 or 3 of Miss Marvel. Um, would you say it's better than Moon Knight? I know we kind of didn't really touch the Moon Knight. I don't believe.
I really enjoyed Moon Knight.
I did enjoy Moon Knight, but I think Alvaro's the only one that's seen Miss Marvel. We might actually have that that talk when maybe Max is able to show up.
Yeah, maybe we can talk about
But
Miss Marvel and Moon Knight next week.
more Marvel episodes.
Woo!
I don't know. I like you said you haven't seen Eternals, and you said Miss Marvel is better. I mean, I haven't finished watching Miss Marvel, but I do like I like how it's like, I don't know, like cheery and I don't know, you know what I mean?
It's
Like,
got personality.
yeah, it's got personality. Like I watched like I think the first 2 episodes, and they're like when she's trying to go to the convention, and it's like, oh, everything's like she's writing their whole story, and it's like going on the wall, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. But Eternals is completely different compared to Miss Marvel.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Totally. It's yeah.
The complaints for Miss Marvel are all about the tone. They're like, "Oh, I don't know who this is for," and I'm like, "Well, apparently not for you." But the comparisons I've seen, like tonally, is like a lot similar to Spider-Man: Homecoming, which I really enjoyed. So if it's like that, I know. So there's people that don't really care for the teenager tone of the first Spider-Man movie. I would say it's lesser in the second and third one, but still there.
I haven't seen any of it, but it sounds like that should be a good thing for Disney to do, right? Maybe they're not trying to create content for a single audience anymore, right? I mean, we have Moon Knight, which is pretty like one of the darkest things that Disney's come out with for Marvel. And then we have Miss Marvel, which apparently you say is like, bubbly and has personality. Could be for two different audiences, and I think that's a good thing. Maybe we should stop expecting everyone to watch every piece of Marvel bits.
Yeah.
Especially since it's impossible. It's literally not literally, but it's near impossible to just keep up with everything if you're just getting into Marvel at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily, you have Disney Plus, which is what they want. They're gonna put everything on Disney Plus and be like, "Hey, come and watch it. You need to catch up."
If you have,
they have everything sorted out into like neat little categories. Yeah.
They're gonna have subcategories within Marvel pretty soon.
Well, then
they'll probably have all the pages listed again.
Yeah. They have like the different trilogies. So you can watch all of Infinity Saga, or they have it split up all the Thor movies and all the Iron Man movies and the Captain America movies.
We need more Iron Man movies. That's what we need. I mean, I know that'll never happen because
it's not going to be.
You mean with Pepper Potts?
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with
that.
I
would be too.
I think it would obviously the only acceptable way to bring Tony Stark back, it would be an alternate version, and I would only want it as a temporary thing. I don't want him to come back as a different version of Tony Stark, because it's just going to kill everything that built. But if he does like, I don't know, like an evil Tony Stark we already seen something like that for Doctor Strange.
We did that already. We don't need that again.
Yeah, we don't need it again. But I'm saying, like, if it's like some throwaway shit that they can like a wink and a nod, but he's not really going to be a focus on the movie.
I mean, technically, Ultron was supposed to be an evil version of Tony Stark, so I guess we already did that literally with Iron Man.
We'll see. I don't know if it's going to be Pepper Potts. They might do the Ironheart thing, because that's what they did when Tony Stark died in the comics.
There was supposed to be a show with,
but no one
Machine,
liked that character.
Right?
I'd watch it.
At this point, they didn't make a show for everybody, so
it was supposed to be War Machine.
We need an hour-long Groot show where he says, "I'm Groot."
Groot. No, they're giving Groot shorts.
I was gonna ask, is the Miss She-Hulk, is that part of Phase 4 or is that part of a Phase 5?
I don't know.
It depends on when it comes out, I guess. But I think
it's still Phase 4 because it'll be around October, right?
Yeah, I think, assuming they're ending Phase 4 with the content for this year, and it's not like Phase 3, which took place over 2 years. Or maybe it was longer than 2 years, but there was 11 movies that spanned from, what was the first one in Phase 3? Iron Man 3?
I actually don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know.
It's been a while. I have to go look at the timeline. But I mean, if Phase 4 ends at the end of the year, then it's going to be, Black Panther that's going to kind of have a big thing at the end. Otherwise, it might not be until the end of next year that we see the end of Phase 4.
I wouldn't. Well, yeah, like I said, I don't know what to expect at this point, because it seems like we haven't really had like a main bad guy get introduced or main problem get introducced.
Yeah, we did. And it was in Loki.
What? I haven't finished that.
Come on, Justin.
I'm behind. I haven't watched the Winter Soldier one either.
But okay, maybe. Yeah, I'll just shut up then. I don't know.
I'll
just accept that.
I'm not gonna say who it is.
Dangerous territory.
Yeah, I'll just accept that. Like, I don't know, and I will just let things happen.
Yeah, the character that was introduced is big enough to be a Thanos level threat in the future.
Yeah. Okay.
Will it happen? Who knows? Well, we're going to get a season 2 of Loki, so maybe we'll find out next year. Assuming it's next year.
I could go for a season 2 of Hawkeye, because that show was hella good. I don't know if everybody watched it, but that show
I'd
was
watch the
super
season
good.
show. Yeah,
I did like that one, but season 2, I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess there could be with the girl, but I think they're trying to like retire uh, Jeremy Renner's Hawkeye.
I don't
And I
think
think
they retired him at the end of the series, though. I think they were working together by the end of it.
I think they're trying to set it up though, right? Because I mean,
Oh, well,
like
yeah.
they're trying to give
Next
like
gen.
they're trying to give like the superheroes like their
An out.
how do you say it? Not just an out, but like their hero's ending, right? Like
Yeah.
like Tony Stark had a hero's ending. Black
Captain
Widow
America
had a hero's ending. Captain America, kind of, I would say he did, but I don't know. I guess it depends on how you consider it.
Yeah, he definitely did. I would say Black Widow's was the most questionable hero's ending because her movie happened after her hero's ending, and
Yeah,
it should have happened before. But
possible.
that's
But-
another topic.
Yeah, but still, like that's yeah. I mean, even though she had a movie afterwards, like she still had a hero's ending, and that's why she can like safely not have to do any more movies.
I don't want to see him die. I think I would be perfectly content with him just riding off into the sunset.
Well,
and
yeah, I'm not
casting off
saying.
his-
Yeah, I'm
his
not saying he
quiver.
has to die, but I'm not saying he has to die, but I am saying like that's a good way for him to retire is to like pass on the torch.
pass the torch.
You know?
Yeah. And I think that's going to be the same thing with Thor, or not Thor. Sorry. I thought maybe it could have been Thor. I think everybody expected Natalie Portman to be around for further movies, and maybe the end sequence is either an open door or open window, or just a nice little nod, to the after the movie.
Yeah, who knows?
But what I meant to say was Hulk and She-Hulk. That might definitely be that thing too. I mean, you can't kill the Hulk, but he can go retire and live his life in a lab. And they can always pop him up for cameos later.
He'll turn into Edward Norton.
I think Thor is going to be around for a while, though. I think he's just having too much fun.
Yeah.
And he's the only one.
Maybe a little too much fun for some people.
I seen an article that said
Scorsese's not happy.
I seen an article that said that he wants to continue to be in Thor because he wants to pass up Hugh Jackman for the most Marvel appearances.
I saw not Marvel appearances. Longest running superhero character.
Bro.
Right, like
I mean,
he's like a few years behind right now, I think. But yeah.
I don't know. He only has. I mean, we have.
It's not. It wasn't about movies. It was just about like the first movie and the last movie. Yeah, in years, in like our years. That
seems like really like Hugh Jackman was at 18 years. Because when did X-Men, the first X-Men come out?
2000.
2000 on the dot, and then Logan was 2018, right?
Something.
Or
like
2017. It was pre-COVID, obviously. I don't know if it was like winter in 17 or if it was in 18. Could have been 19.
Yeah. So I hope that's motivation enough for Chris Hemsworth to keep doing Thor.
I mean, as long as he enjoys being as bulky as he is, because I know that's why a lot of the other guys got off, because they just get tired of the regiment. But
how does one be tired of looking so good?
Chris Hemsworth can just be.
I think
like the other side of the rock, like Thor, Chris Hemsworth is the sun and the Rock is the moon. You know what I mean? Both massively swole men, but Chris Hemsworth he's just brighter.
He went from
brighter
dad bod
personality.
to god bod.
Dad bod to Chad bod.
No. Dad bod to god bod.
Oh, I thought you said Chad bod.
Yeah.
Chad bod works though.
I think it works.
Classic
A
Thor.
really long chin.
Yeah. I think it's not as hard for Chris Hemsworth because I think he's maintaining like at least close to his natural like body size, where Chris Pratt I think has been vocal about like how he hates having to stay in shape,
He's a fat boy at heart. And I also think it would be he would be singing a different tune, Chris Hemsworth, if it wasn't for Taika Waititi. Like, if he had got
Yeah.
another Thor movie that was like the second one, he'd be out. He wouldn't be still here.
No, I think
But
I think he had an interview like that where he was saying he was getting like sad with his Thor character until Ragnarok happened, and then
yeah, because it was a bummer.
Yeah.
Like,
Apparently that's what people want though. Like, oh my god, he was so good in Endgame and whatever. I'm like, well,
he was really cool in Endgame, like at the end, but like he was just kind of an asshole in the beginning.
Now he's learned to love.
I don't know. I think the goofy Thor, they went a little bit too much, but he's gonna be, he'll still be goofy, but he'll be pulled back a little bit, and I think that's the perfect spot.
Actually, you just brought something up too. This was like the first Thor movie where the ending sequence with him and the little girl, it definitely made me want to see even more of this Thor. You know,
Yep.
like it.
Yep.
Like I'm craving more of movies like this. So I hope he does keep it up. I hope they keep it up. So
We're gonna
I
get
can't say that
6.
about a lot of other movies that have come out. Like, you know, they're all good standalone movies, but this is the first one that made me think like I can watch this over and over again. Like I can watch like different stories of this kind of Thor over and over again.
And the music was so good.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think we had a nice discussion about Thor and Marvel, and I say we can close out this episode. What do you guys say?
I
Do it.
agree. No naysayers. It was. This is happy.
Yeah.
Max will interject next week
Yeah.
and be like,
Ti-
"I
title
wasn't here."
title of the podcast: Last Time Online disagrees with Twitter or disagrees with the internet. Anyway,
Yep.
What I will add, it has nothing to do with the discussion, but I just seen it. The Bob's Burgers movie is up on Hulu now, so if you haven't watched it,
Wow.
go watch it. It's a good movie, definitely worth watching on your free time. At
Shout
home.
out Bob's Burgers. And thank you everyone for watching this far in the podcast episode, and make sure to join us next time online when we host Screaming Goats. Bye. Thank you for listening, but before you go, please make sure to like and subscribe to our show, and leave a comment with whatever thoughts you may have. We record a new episode of Last Time Online every week, so keep an eye out for the latest episode. From time to time, we stream on Twitch, so if you would like to see how we act while we are gaming, go over to our channel and give us a follow. We are sponsored by Dubby Energy Drink. Dubby gives you the focus so that you can just be better at video games, all while having no jitters or crash. Click on the link in the description for a 10% discount on your orders on us. We love taking feedback from our audience, so if you have a question for us, you and your question could be featured in our next episode. Check links in the description for ways to reach us and also where to follow each of us on social media. See you next time online.